Welcome to the podcast. Today I'm joined by the lovely Yaiza and Anna, and we're going to talk a bit today about women in business. So shall we start by talking about our journeys as women in business?
Sounds good. Sounds like a good place to start. I think definitely now we're seeing like so many more like really, really successful women in business, especially with e-commerce as well. I think, you know, mums predominantly wanting to be at home, finding other ways, even just to be like women, you know, do homely things as well. So I think there's definitely something that we're seeing where more women are wanting to get into business. And I know we were just talking about it before this podcast. I think now is very, very different to how it was before. Yeah. So I definitely think when I started my journey in business, it was very like predominantly men with the people that I had to like network with. Just everyone really was men, and like to have that relationship with another woman was rare. Like anyone that I would go to was predominantly men, where I think now it's a lot nicer because there's so many women trying to do or achieve for themselves in like successful businesses. And if you feel more comfortable like speaking to a woman, there is so many more options to be able to be like, I just want to work with women, that's where I feel comfortable in. Like you can do that now. Whereas I feel like when I first started, like you really couldn't do that, or it was just like women were a part of the team. They didn't actually own the business. So it's really nice now. I think there's a really good culture of women wanting more, not feeling like restrained to certain environments just because you are a woman. So I think that's really, really nice to see, especially with members as well. I feel like we're now getting to a culture where the women are like coming up to the men, because obviously again it was predominantly men.
And if you relate back to some of our very early events, it was the ratio of men to women was so high, but now, and you'll know from the recent events, like, there's a lot more women, and I feel like the members that are coming through that are women, no offense to the men, and obviously there is men that come in and do it like this as well, but the women come in, they're like, I'm going to do this, and they do it. They actually follow what they're saying they're going to do. So
I think it's really, really, really nice to see. And I think with women as well, especially like if you're a mum, like you have to get stuff done. You have to be organised. You have to know what you're doing at what time. Like you have to get other people. You have to manage other people. Probably like the worst annoying people that you've got to manage. So if you can manage that and get your life into like a good standard of routine, like actually business becomes really, really easy.
I think that's what probably appeals most to women, like you say, because they have that flexibility of not being in a 9 to 5 and being able to work when they want, and also looking after their family. That's probably why they do work so hard, because they can see that end goal and they know what they're like working towards. Like I'm obviously quite young, so I'm not in that kind of stage of my life yet, but it's definitely something I see it as an advantage in the future, because you know I'm quite a hard-working person. I've always said I would struggle being like a stay-at-home mum, so I'd love to have that balance, and this is what gives me that balance, which is just brilliant.
100%. I think we've spoke about it before on other podcasts and webinars, but I think what you're both saying is so true, because it's the purpose behind that. Like I find I speak to a lot of women who are perhaps on maternity leave, like, and they're interested in starting something, and they're thinking like, I really don't want to go back to my 9 to 5. I really don't want to put my child into childcare and miss out like all that time. And I think the purpose is what really drives them, and that's why, like you say, they're managing all of this. They might as well do that as well, and then like really put their energy into that. and think, I don't need to go back to that 9 to 5. I'm going to, be at home. I'm going to work on my business and really push that forward.
Yeah. No, it's there's just so many benefits to it. And I think, like, definitely with women, we want to be at home. Like, you want to be with your kids, you want to enjoy all these things, and that's what it's giving you. And also, like, helping your family as a whole. So yeah, I definitely think that's why we're seeing this movement with women. Whether you're a mum or whether you're preparing to be a mum, that's ultimately the goal. We want to enjoy our children. We want to enjoy that time. But how can you do it if you're working or if you have to work?
Yeah.
But I don't want to make it sound like all sunshine and roses. It's definitely not. Like, it is hard. Like, there's sacrifices you do have to make to get there.
Yeah.
But you definitely can with, like, the right mindset as well. But I feel like it was really nice for me as well. Like, we were speaking about this before. Like, when you are communicating with a man in business, like, do we subconsciously feel like we have to portray ourselves? Yeah, prove ourselves more because we are a woman. And I feel like definitely previously, like, yes, but I feel like the experiences that I'm having now in business, like, you don't. If you can prove, like, what you do is adding value, I feel like maybe it's because I feel really confident in what I'm doing that I don't feel like I have to be portrayed like that. But are we subconsciously thinking that? It's a tough one, like, to know. Yeah, like,
I think it's better to be
do you know what? It would
cautious,
be
though.
interesting to know what men think. How men
that's
think.
true. Yeah, definitely.
Like, if they think differently. But I just think getting into business anyway as a woman, like, you definitely go through a journey. There's so many aspects of, like, your personality that really, really grow. Like, when I think about where I was in the beginning and maybe how I communicated with men, and also, like, as a woman as well, making sure that you're not, like, crossing those, like, crossing boundaries, like, being really careful, how do you present yourself as a woman, making sure that you're not talking in a tone, your body language isn't in a certain way, so they're gonna, like, take it, like, because people do, like, they do. I think especially, like, men, like, they do. So you have to be. I mean, that's something I'm really careful about, like, making sure. Be careful with it. Making sure that I'm careful with how I represent myself.
Yeah.
And I definitely think, as a woman, that's something we need to think about. It's something I think about.
Completely. I mean, for me, now that you've said that, when I think about it, obviously my main job is, like, shown on social media, so I have to be so careful with how the type of content I post to make sure that I'm still taken seriously and not, like, sexualized, really.
That's so true.
Because honestly, the amount of, like, DMs and requests I get that have nothing to do with business that are more on that level is just ridiculous. And I have to be careful because, I'm young and I enjoy to dress up and things like that. So I want to post nice pictures of me, and I don't want that to be seen in a way that I'm, like, not taking my business seriously, because I still am. You can do both. It's just you have to be careful to make sure that people don't, or men don't interpret it in that way. So I would say that's probably, like, for me, my biggest issue with it all. Definitely.
And have you ever, from the, like, content creation side of things, obviously you said, like, with the DMs, but have you ever had, like, when brands would approach you or you approach a brand, like, you feel you're not taken seriously as a woman? Or
yeah, I have. I think I've almost had it the other way, that I've had a lot of brands approach me to do maybe a little bit more scandalous type of content. Especially when I first started out, there was brands messaging me to do, like, provocative foods and lingerie and stuff like that. And I don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing that type of content if that's you. But there was a part of me that thought, okay, if I start with that, how in the future is it going to look? And is this content going to come, cause me trouble down the line just because I've made it? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong, but you do have to think like that.
if you think in the future, like you've obviously just begun working with a really big brand, but maybe they potentially wouldn't have taken you as seriously if you had begun doing content like that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. And if you were a man, I don't think you'd have been approached for those kinds of things.
No, completely, yeah. If it's a man running a business and he's gone to see that content and he's doing, you know, I don't know, something to do with clothes or along those lines, and he saw me in lingerie, then his head's not going to go, oh yeah, this is the exact person I want to do my content in the future, because he'll see it in a different way. And unfortunately, that's just the truth. They don't really see it as, okay, this is a person who could do multiple different niches. They just see, okay, this is a person who's done this. That's not what I want for my brand.
And I think as well, it's so important to have like other women around you in business. I've been so lucky, like all my family are very business orientated. Pretty much all of them have their own businesses. So even when I'm in like my safe environment, even when I'm with like my girl cousins, we will always be talking about, not always obviously, but a big part of our conversations will be around business or what they're now doing or what they want to do. And I'm so blessed to have that with them. Or like my cousin, like she's just as mad as me, like she's got 3 kids, she's already got a business, and then she's talking to me about a product, and I'm like, Leanne, are you like, what are you doing? And then I do it to Tami as well. I'm like, yeah, so I'm kind of thinking this, I think this would be a really good idea. And then like in my head I'm like, how am I doing this? Where am I getting this time? But it's like, because I've been so engrossed in that environment and felt safe with women around me that are always like having these ideas that we want to do more. And it's not necessarily about the money or to spend time with my children or to have time. It's just because that's just what I love to do. But I feel like sometimes men won't get it as a woman and how we feel and certain things that we feel, or as a mum as well, or knowing that you want to be a mum, why you want to do this, or like maybe like, I don't want to put things into men's heads, but like, you know, why are you so obsessed with all of this kind of thing? When do you know what I mean? But anyway, the point being, I don't want to go off onto a different subject. The point being, I think it's important to have other women around you, and predominantly, like a lot of our products that we want to sell are normally based towards women, products that are going to help them. So it's good to be around other women to get their feedback, and other business women to talk about like their journeys as well, like the things that we've spoke about, or you know, maybe certain things that you might experience. But I think it's definitely important to have other women around you, which has literally been so lovely for me. I know like we speak all the time about all the businesses that we've got going, and I genuinely, I don't know what it is, but I just wouldn't be able to have the same conversations with a man. And maybe that is because how I speak to Tami, and this is me being totally honest, how would I feel comfortable talking to another man like that all the time about business when I know, like, maybe like talking about, like, say, like if he's got a partner or a wife, would I feel comfortable messaging him at 11 at night about something that I need to get done? Being totally honest, I don't know. I probably, like, cause I know how I'd feel. Like, why is she messaging you? Like, at night? But like with Tami and like women, I could message her all hours of the time. So, and to be fair, it's something like I've never really thought about.
Yeah,
but
I haven't actually.
No, but actually, no, I'm saying it. Like, it is a valid point, and I think just naturally we feel more comfortable with each other, just to express our views. So I think it is lovely to have other women around you.
Yeah, definitely.
Even like thinking about it now, like the content that we've been getting and stuff, it's so lovely that we've got each other.
I noticed that yesterday when we were taking content and stuff like that. I was like, just having women around you, they just big you up like, all the time. You can never really feel, you know, down, or like if you're feeling unconfident about anything, just surrounding yourself with the right people is just brilliant, because we'd love to support each other. And I think that's probably because of all of the rubbish we've gone through previously to get here, and because we've all had that before, we can all relate to it, so we know how important it is to big each other up.
100%. I think just going back to like the change community, and obviously you both work with members quite a lot, women and men, but how do you feel? Like, I feel like, big up the change community, like I feel like our men are so respectful, so
definitely.
just
Completely
taking a different spin. Like, obviously you both work with like the men, like you've got products you're doing for people, and do you feel like it's easy to work with the people within our community?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a difference, like doing a business with a man, being that intimate, because doing a business is very intimate, like what we spoke about. But we are so lucky that our team is just absolutely amazing, and I feel like there's never been anything where anyone's felt like undervalued because of your gender. So
no, they, like, all the guys in our like experts team just banter and put us down as much as they do to each other.
Exactly.
It's just one of them.
And true. Definitely with members, like it's I
don't think it's the same, is it? Because I like speak to obviously members quite often as well, and I don't think I've ever thought like I've never thought, oh, I can't open this DM, Ryan's there, like, is it going to be okay? You know what I mean?
Cool.
I think there's,
because they're on the same mindset, everyone's the same mindset, but they've come through, they want to make something work, they're coming to you for help, they're coming for you to you for help. So it's not like, oh, what can they do for me? It's like, how can they help me with my business?
No, it's it's really lovely supporting people, just what we do. But I think, like I said, it's just really nice that we do have like a women's community.
Yeah, it's
as
so
well.
nice seeing more and more women come through. I think as well, what I'm tending to see a lot more now is couples doing it together, which I love.
Yeah, I love that.
Really
and it's
nice.
so nice because you've got like the two. Kind of like how me and Ryan work.
Yeah.
So, you come in together, you've both got the same vision, but then there are things that perhaps a woman will have a more good eye for than a man would, and vice versa. So I think it really complements.
And just having that support of someone that, like, cares for you and stuff like that. It's really
completely.
nice.
And I think, obviously, it's not bad to say that like women have their own strengths and men have their own strengths. So if they're working together, then you can't really go wrong, because even something as simple as like dealing with a problem, like if a man was just doing it by himself, or if a woman was just doing it by themselves, they'd probably deal with it separately. Like I have this with my partner all the time. Like, I take things quite literally. So when someone says something to me, I'm like, oh no, like, should I be upset? And it's nice to have him there to be like, oh no, actually, let's look at it a bit differently. So just, I think having a couple work together just shows like you can get the best out of both of them, which is really, really important.
100%.
I think so. Yeah, no, but I think that conversation's been really lovely. So many points were touched on that we didn't think we were going to touch on, and really, really, really nice. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Anna.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
Yaiza.
guys.